Sir, we can start, sir. It is in live now.
Sir, shall I start, sir?
Sir, proceed, sir. Is it audible to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all participants joining us on the RMK CET YouTube live stream for the today's generic talk series 39. At the outset, I express our sincere gratitude to the RMK Group of Institutions Management for their constant vision and support in organizing such valuable platforms. We also thank our respected principals, sir, teams for their leadership, and our heads of departments for their wholehearted coordination and encouragement in making this event a grand success. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the generic talk series, so proudly presented by the RMK College of Engineering and Technology, an autonomous institution under the RMK Group of Institutions. So today's talk is titled The ABCs of AI Success, a topic that is incredibly relevant and essential in today's AI-powered world. Whether you are a student, faculty, or professional, today's session promises to offer insights that will truly shape your understanding of artificial intelligence. Now, I will call upon to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's session. I invite our respected Head of the Department, Computer Science and Engineering, Dr. R. Rajaguru, for your, sir, kindly share your few words. Please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to everyone joining us through the RMKCT YouTube live stream. It is my great pleasure to extend a warm and cordial welcome to all the participants, faculty members, students, academicians, and industrial professionals gathered for today's insightful session. At outset, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the management of RMK Group of Institutions for their visionary leaderships, continuous encouragement, and unwavering support in creating such meaningful academic and professionals learning platform. We also place on record of our heartfelt thanks to our respectful principal, Dean Academics and Dean Research for their constant motivation and guidance, and to all the head of the department for their valuable coordination and support in successful organizing these events. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 39th edition of Generic Talk Series, proudly organized by RMK College of Engineering and Technology. Today's session, titled The ABCs of AI Success, comes at highly significant time when AI is rapidly transforming industry, education, research, and society at large. As AI continue to redefine the future of technology and innovation, understanding the principles, opportunities, and pathway to success in this domain has become essentially for every aspiring professionals and academician. I am certain that today's session provide valuable perspectives, practical insights, and meaningful inspiration to all the participants. It is now my distinguished honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker for today's program. Our distinguished guest, Mr. M.K. Kumaresan, is an accomplished conversational AI and cloud architect with more than 14 years of rich and diverse industry experience across globally renowned organizations including Capgemini, Cisco, and Google. Over the years, he has built deep expertise in cloud computing, networking, machine learning, conversational AI, and generative AI, with a significant specialization in Google Cloud Platform and contact center AI technology. His academic accomplishments are equally noteworthy. He possesses strong interdisciplinary educational credits in electrical electrical and electronics and software systems, along with a professional postgraduate specialization in artificial intelligence and machine learning from the University of Texas. Completing this remarkable academic foundations, he has earned more than 2 dozens of globally international recognized certifications, demonstrating his expectation, commitment, and continuous learning technology excellence. Beyond his corporate and technical achievements, Mr. Kumaresan is also widely recognized for his active contribution to the professional and developer community. He has been closely associated with initiatives such as Google Developer Groups, Women Tech Marks, and Agile Networks India, contributing significant to the knowledge sharing, mentoring, and community-driven innovation. In addition, he served as a visiting professor and curriculum advisor, actively guiding students and institutions in aligned academic learning with evolving industry expectations. Today, we are truly privileged to have such an accomplished industry expert with us to share his insights on the ABCs of AI success. I am confident that his experience and expertise and practical perspective will greatly benefit all the participants and inspiring many aspiring AI professionals among us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a very warm and enthusiastic virtual welcome to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Kumaresan, MK, Senior AI Consultant, Google, Bangalore. Thank you, sir. We are honored to have you with us today. Sir, over to you for the session.
Thank you so much, sir, for the great introduction. And I full heart humbly thank you for the whole RMK management and the department for giving me the great opportunity. Without any further ado, I can go with my presentation and I'll quickly share what I wanted to share today. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. As we all know, so we are into the AI era. So AI is the most frequently used buzzword all around. Even if you go with the commercial market or retailer market, if you go and buy any retail product also now AI has been inherited. So we could see the refrigerator with AI, the air conditioner with AI. Then think about the technical industry, the technical domain, what we are exploring, the landscape, what we are exploring, how much contribution AI is doing it. But this is actually a great opportunity for students and the people, those who work on AI domain, those who are graduating engineering. It's a high time for you to upskill AI. So now from an industry experience or industry perspective, today I'm going to share with a couple of things. So how fundamentally we can put the foundation strong to upskill AI. So basically what actually AI meant for in an industry. So why we are talking very importance to AI and how AI is making changes in the enterprise side. At the end of the day, what revolution or how much revenue, how the transformation it makes in the industry, that really matters, right? So today's the topic, the ABCs of AI success. So fundamentally, I'm going to take with the foundational level topic. So what actually those ABCs, if you wanted to become a success in AI, or if you are building an AI model or an AI agent, if that particular AI application wanted to be a success in the market, a success in the industry, so what are the foundational things? So if you are learning a new language, might be English, so we start with the ABC. Similarly, today's agenda, we're going to discuss the fundamentals of AI. So what are the core pillars if you want to have a powerful AI? Then we'll discuss about because AI change, the technology change, what is happening today. It is so dynamic. Unlike decade back, 10 years back, when the revolution happened for mobile or any other technology like internet or a web. So we never seen this much drastic change happens almost every day. New models, new tokens, new way of accessing the AI. So it's a high time for us to have an understanding about where it started and where it is moving and where we are in today. So we need to understand the evolution of AI, how it goes on. Then looking back to 2026, where we are, what is the peak trend agentic AI? So that will explore how the agentic AI differs from the other AIs, what we discussed yesterday and day before yesterday, right? So then we come back to a Google stack. So Google also one of the leading AI provider in the market. So we'll discuss how the Google AI stack looks like and what are the solution what Google is providing to the enterprises and the end customers. That's the whole agenda, right? So first one is fundamentals, then we'll go with the evolution of AI, then coming back to Google's AI stack and Google's AI Enterprise Studio. So why AI agents? So we've been talking about AI almost like, past 4 years or 5 years. We could say AI is everywhere, unlike before. We see a lot of new departments, a lot of new roles. If you are a student, you could realize or witness that a lot of new departments are getting started under UGC. And if you are working in a corporate, definitely you will get to know there are a lot of new roles like a prompt engineer to like a prompt injector, AI practitioner, AI engineer, a lot of new roles what you play with the AI models and AI bots. So why AI agents required? So mainly when we wanted to uh, debrief the term AI, see we are making a machine or a computer to mimic like a human. So why we are making a computer to mimic like a human? The reason we can offload our work to a machine so that machine can do a work, part of your work, and you can invest your time to some high priority tasks, some high productive tasks. That's the whole idea, right? You are making a mimic, you are making a computer or a model to mimic like a human behavior. So when we talk about a human behavior, so how human got evolved? So we got evolved from reading a books, studying classes, completing engineering. So we got all of knowledge, and when we are into a domain, we would be working and producing the output. Now, 2025 and 2026, it's all about the AI agents. So what actually AI agents will come and discuss little in a moment. Why this 2026 is a very leap year for agentic AI? So why every industry and every corporate and every customer is talking about AI, but AI is no more a top, discussion topic. AI is actually a real-time implementation now. The customers, the industries, those were tried out the proof of concept, those were tried out the UIT couple of years back. Now they are actually into the actual game. They started investing so much, they are getting a defined output from the investment what they are making it. This is some of the the survey result from the latest survey in 2026. And if you go with the AI return of investment, you could see like whatever the investment made in the AI domain for a consumers or a providers, they are making it around 124 percentage return on investment in a business perspective. And they are saving $80 billion in the cost saving by automating their complete workflow, the automating their call center, the automating the day-to-day activities what they do by using an AI. And other main important component, the 12 billion global market revenue from AI alone in a year. So we hoping to get this 12 billion alone from a AI technology. So when I say $12 billion, it will be roughly around three times India's whole GDP. India's present GDP is around like 4.15 trillion. So that way it goes in, right? I mean, 12 billion, then again, India's GDP is 4.1 trillion. By 2013, we're expecting the revenue generated from AI is three times the India's GDP. That like a 12 trillion we're going to be in 2030. This is a few numbers I'm giving the glance how much impact it is making in the industry, whoever producing the AI, whoever deploying the AI, and whoever consuming an AI. This is a whole life cycle happening in the industry. Now, coming back to one agenda. So agenda is a very, very packed and simple agenda for you. because I made it, compiled for the students who are exploring engineering and those who want to understand the basics of the trend happening in the agentic AI or AI agents. The introduction of AI agents, let's go with a fantastic example to understand what actually AI agent does. So AI is everywhere. We have a traditional AI, we have a generative AI, and today we have a agentic AI. What is the difference between these three categories of AI? What AI agent does and how AI agent differs from the other AI things. So that we need to understand the agentic AI architecture. So what are the additional components getting added to a AI's architecture if you are designing or building something? Then we get back to a Google's AI stack as a leading provider in AI. So how does the Google's AI stack look like? So when we say a AI stack, AI is not only about a model giving a response to you. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of technical things you need to understand fundamentally what happening behind the screen, right? Since we are engineers exploring, tomorrow we are going to develop an AI model or develop an AI application, so we should definitely understand what is happening behind. When you're giving a prompt, what is happening behind, what is happening with the transformer model, and how the prompt is getting tokenized, how it is getting processed, and how it is generating output back to you. Then we'll explore Gemini Enterprise. So Gemini is the Google's leading multi-model. So we'll explore the Gemini Enterprise. What are the solutions that Google Gemini stack is giving to the customer? Then I'll show you a couple of demos, and not only limiting to the demos, I will give you access or resource links where you can go and register yourself, say like a upskilling lab or a free trial cloud account, or you can go and upskill yourself by learning a cloud skill boost courses. You just need a interest and your email id, any email id, Gmail will do. Just register yourself, you can upskill. That's the whole agenda. So before we get into AI agent, and let me just give an example. So AI agent or agentic AI, what we are talking today, that is completely different from the generative AI bot, what we are super smart with, what we are explored with. Say an example, if I ask you the question, how many of you used, Gemini or a chat GPT or any AI bot? Definitely 90% of you will raise a hand, say, yeah, definitely I have used. So, those AI bots are how it works, right? You give a prompt, basically you give your own language prompt. So now if you are want to integrate, interact with a computer, you no need to understand the computer's language like before. You can talk in your own language. That's the reason if the prompt engineering has become a very very big and vital role. You're talking to a machine and typing a prompt. So what AI model does, takes input, digest it, and give the output back to you, right? So once you get output, what you do, you want to execute that output. Whereas in the agentic AI, this is not completely, it is giving output. Rather, it is drafting a plan, it is executing a plan with your approval. Are you getting the difference? What I'm trying to say, the difference between the generative AI bot, what we are super comfortable with, and where we are moving the agentic AI agents, the AI agents, where when you give a prompt or give a task, it does a complete plan, it does a complete reasoning, it has a memory, it has orchestrator, it has access to the real world tools, then it execute and give the task completion to you. Hope you're getting it right. I'd give then a nice example for you to understand. See, like you are in India, you wanted to have a travel plan for a upcoming trip in 2 months. To today is May, so you plan for a trip in July last week, probably a 10 days trip to Europe, and you have a travel budget of 3 lakh. So what you do, if you go and ask any AI generative AI bot, what generative AI bot gonna do? It will understand your question, take the intent from the question, then it will draft a plan. Okay, fine. So you have a 3 lakh budget. Let me just put 1 lakh budget for a travel, and let me put 30-40,000 for budget for your accommodation, and the remaining budget, yeah, you can go Eiffel Tower, you can go to other countries, you can book a flight, and this is the plan, looks like high level. So 10 days, this is itinerary, the bot will give it to you. So what is the next action? What you gonna do? Oh, you got a lot of things, right? You need to go with the passport. You need to apply for a visa. Then you need to check for a hotels. You need to check for the price. Then you need to go for a flight. You need to check for the flight's availability. You need to reserve a ticket for the flight, and you need to think about the currency conversion as well. Since you have a money in INR, you need to book something in euros. These are all the things you need to consider it with the generative AI era. So basically, if you are planning for a trip to a Europe in 2 months, the AI bot just draft and give it to a plan, nothing else. So you as a human wanted to execute the plan. Now coming back to a next example, what I was explaining, the agentic AI agent, the agentic AI bot. So when you give the same task, the same prompt to the agentic AI agent, what it does, even it drafts a plan. After it drafts a plan, it will try to execute the plan. When I try to execute the plan, it has a super access to the real world tools. It has access to the memory. It has access to the LLM orchestrator. Though the AI agent also use your LLM as a brain, LLM as a foundation architecture for the process. But what it does, like generative AI bot, it drafts a plan and give to you. What agentic AI does, after drafting a plan, it will do a reasoning and it will try to execute it. So for an same example, if you give a 3 lakh budget, in July last week, I want to travel for Europe 10 days trip. First, what it does, yeah, to travel from India to Europe, definitely, it you need a passport, a valid passport, which has a validity of 6 months active. It will verify the passport validity from your database. Then it will look for the visa availability. Have you have a visa before? Okay, for a Europe visa, definitely you need a Schengen visa. So who is providing Schengen visa in India? So some provider called VFS Global, they are providing a Schengen visa. To apply a visa, you need to have 22,000 payment need to be done. So after making a visa payment, then okay, you need to go for a hotel and flight. So it will go for a Google Flights or a Sky Fly, uh, Sky Scanner flight website to identify your flight, and it will try to make a booking for you by calling an API. Even actually after your authorization, if you provide. So what actually that AI agent does now, even after executing the 10 days draft plan, it will execute the plan looking at your budget, looking at your currency rate, looking at your visa availability, looking at your past experience. So how you prefer to travel? Do you need a, in between a hop, or you can go with a direct flight, which is a preferable seat if you reserve in the flight based on your previous past history, what it has. So to do all these things, it needs a memory, it needs a brain, and it needs access to the real world tools. That is very important, right? When I say real world access tool in this example, it should have access to the flight booking API website. It should have access to the hotel booking website like a hotelbooking.com or Agoda, any website. And it should have access to a VFS global API where you can draft a visa application on behalf of you, and definitely it will ask you for your authorization before the submission. So this is the way the agentic AI era, agentic AI agent differs. So Gen AI agent, when you give a prompt, this is the way you give a prompt, it executes and gives you a response back to you. It drafts the plan. It's like you have a model sitting inside the room where it doesn't have access to the outside world. Whereas in the agentic AI agent, when you give a task, after drafting the plan, it has a door opened. It has access to the real world by using a tools, by calling other agent, by using A2A API, or using A2A protocol, or using a MCP protocol. And it has access to the database, the payment gateways, APIs. So that's the way it works. Hope you're getting a high level difference where we are moving from generative AI to an agentic AI. So before we get more dive or a deep dive into a agentic AI architecture, I wanted to ensure you have a good understanding about the fundamentals. Because without having a strong fundamental, even if you build any high building also, definitely it's gonna shake one day. So I want to ensure you have a good understanding about the foundation. Let me ask you one quick question. And when was the first time the term AI got introduced? Since we are in 2026, just take a moment and think, take a second and think. When was the first time the AI got introduced? Yeah. So to answer the question, yeah, if you guessed approximately near or close to the year, or if you guessed the right answer, well and good. The answer was 1956. 1956, the term artificial intelligence, the AI got introduced the first time. So we are almost now 70 years, 70, we traveled. But we are seeing the AI trend, the AI evolution, the AI ruling the complete industry, the complete world. Maybe after 2022 or maybe after 2020, past 4 years or 3 years or 5 years, or you may say like the lot of research work it happened for almost like last 10 years, I would say. So though we travel from 56 to 2026, like around 70 years, we see the lot of growth, lot of visibility, lot of adoption happening in the AI space for last 10 years. Why so? Why AI is so popular today? So this particular question has the answer for your fundamental. If you try to answer why AI is so popular, even though it exists for 70 years, why AI is so popular today, will give you the answer. Yeah. Take a second and think about it. Why AI is so popular today? Is it because of the AI bot what we use or what we consume? Or is it because of everybody talking about AI? Is it because of we are studying AI department? Is it because of we are having a AI as a subject? Is it so? To answer that question, just make a note. The AI becomes so popular because of other two pillars. So those we will call it as a big data and the cloud computing. So the fundamental equation you need to understand if you wanted to excel in AI. AI is equal to B plus C. Artificial intelligence is equal to big data plus cloud computing. So when you have a huge amount of curated data, and when you have a data and you have a computing to consumer data and process it for your model, when these two joins together, your AI can, kind of AI can superpower. AI will get a superpower. So if you wanted to build a powerful AI system, you need to have these two pillars. One is the big data and cloud computing. So why the big data is trending, or the big data, when I say the data in big size. So like 70 years back, when we talk about data, so data would be in the size of very small. It used to be in the size of a lemon. Then after 30, 40 years, it became a size of a cricket ball like this. Then today, when we talk about the data, it looks like a football size. Then maybe down the line, after a decade, if you look at the data size, it looks like a football ground. So that means to say that data is growing, the data is evolving exponentially in industry. See, now when you have exponential data, how do you make a value out of a data? How do you make a use from the data? So if you wanted to make any value out of a data, you need the computing power. So that computing power, definitely you cannot do it from a local PC or local laptop. You need a huge computer. So there we go with the cloud computing. For you to understand in layman term, if you consider an example of any AI bot today you use, and we as a consumer, we give a prompt and it generate a text output or a code output or a music or a video, whatever it does. But if you look at the backend infrastructure, the investment, the running cost for API tokens, the infrastructure, what they have it for these, the large language model. So they would be spending like a millions together per day to maintain the infrastructure. So that mean to say, when you have a balanced architecture between these two, like kind of dots, you will get the successful AI. So AI success always depends on how much data you have, how curated data, how much clean data, and when you have a huge data, how you process the data using cloud computing. So A is equal to B plus is a very fundamental thing you need to understand. Now you get a lot of clarity, right? When you wanted to become excel, or if you want to make yourself super comfortable with AI, it's not something you can upskill only with the AI. You need to understand about the data part as well. When we say data part, data engineering, data lifecycle, from where the data is getting generated. Who is generating a data? Is it from IoT devices, or is it from a logs? Is it from a conversation, or is it from a browsing history, or is it from anywhere else? So that complete data engineering lifecycle we need to understand how you can curate a data. Then cloud computing, definitely. So you can go with any public or private cloud providers to consumer data and make your model development. You can develop your own model, or you can go with your data. You can integrate your own data set with the existing model available in the cloud computing. So if you understand these big data engineering and cloud computing, then it will be definitely helpful and beneficial for you to upskill in a artificial intelligence domain. So my first point wanted to emphasize here, A is equal to B plus C is a very fundamental thing. If you want to have a powerful AI system, you should definitely have a good understanding about a big data and cloud computing perspective. Now, let me ask you a sample question because I wanted to make this session as an interactive, though we are in a live. Just think about it. And are you using AI in your life today? Today is 10th May 2026. When we ask this question, well, definitely you say, yeah, we use Gemini, we use ChatGPT, Cloud, and many AI bot you say. But I'm not talking about AI bot, which is in a trend. I'm talking about, are you using AI in your life before this AI bot get into a world? Do you have answer? Yeah. If you are having an answer, good. Definitely we are using AI in your life for a longer time. Say an example, Gmail where the spam filter is happening and the weather prediction or a stock market prediction, or you go with the Google map, how it gives you the time when you before you reach the destination. And also your WhatsApp, if you take a WhatsApp typing, the smart typing. So everything is an example of AI. We've been using AI for a longer time, but how those AIs differed from what we consume a generative AI model today, and how it differs to the agentic AI what we are exploring today. So these are the three evaluation I wanted to conclude with you. The first thing is A is equal to B plus C. Now what we are discussing completely about a AI evaluation. If you wanted to understand what is happening in AI today, definitely you should have a good understanding about what happened yesterday and what happened day before yesterday. Now this is the example of day before yesterday, where we are using the models mainly for a predictive and classification purpose. Predictive, as I showed you, the Google map or a weather prediction, stock market prediction, those are the predictive AI. Classification, yeah, image classification or a spam email, email filter classification, those are the classification examples. And the generative AI, of course, when you give a prompt, when your model is generating any output, text output or a code, music, video, anything, that could be a generative AI example. Then the next one is the agentic AI that we just discussed one example, the travel assistant bot. When you give a task to a bot, not only bot creating a plan, after creating a plan, it has the access, it has the power to execute the plan with your authorization. If a bot could able to do a task completion, that we'll call it as the agentic AI. So how the transformation is happening? So in generative AI world, we used to ask the customer used to ask the provider, can you develop a bot? Can your bot talk to us? Now then agentic AI era, the customer used to ask the provider, can your bot execute the task? Can your bot automate the workflow? So that way we are going into. So traditional AI comprises of two things, prediction and classification. We discuss an example. Now moving to a generative AI, how it differs. Generative AI additionally had two other pillars. One is understanding, where the natural language and natural language understanding and natural language process come in NLU and NLP. The generation, we are witnessing the generation, right? Just giving a prompt, how you are getting an output. So traditional AI is more about classification and prediction, and the generative AI is more about understanding and generation. Now, going with the agentic AI, what is getting added here? The action is getting added. We as a human, if we want to do any action, what actually we would need? Think a moment and say. If somebody giving you a task, hey, you want to complete this particular assignment, or you want to complete this particular project in a particular time period, what we will do? Or we will draft a plan first, then we'll think in our memory, we'll create a plan, we'll execute. If we while executing a plan, if we stuck somewhere, what we do, we'll take a route, we go with a plan B or a plan C. So we do a reasoning, we do a decision making, then we do actual execution. When you wanted to do actual execution of a particular project, sometimes you need to procure an API, sometimes you need to build a web server, sometimes you need to build a front end, back end. Those are the things you need to do it, right, as a human, if you want to complete a task. Similarly, with the agentic AI, though it has all the functionalities of traditional and generative AI, plus it has the access to the action. So the action is done by the memory, the brain, access to the real world tools, and access to the other agent using A2A protocol or MCP protocol. These all comprises together. Hope you're getting a clarity, right? How the AI got evolved from a traditional AI to a generative AI, then to an agentic AI. Now, let me give you an example about the travel agent, what we just discussed. You ask the bot, the agents, you want to travel in July month for a 10 days trip to Europe, 3 lakh is your budget. What actually it does, yeah, it knows, okay, it has to consider the currency conversion, it has to consider the flight booking, it has to consider your local transport and accommodation. So based on that, it has access to the booking, logistics, itinerary planning, expense tracking. Then it has a memory as well. How much it spent for a flight booking, what is remaining, how much it spent for the accommodation, what is remaining, what is the conversation, what was your past history. So last year 2025, where did you travel? What was your travel itinerary looks like? Which is your more interested places? Are you a adventure liker? Are you a history like person? So those kind of a things, if you need, definitely need a memory bank as well. Then you need to understand about the local laws, the visa policies, the cultural tips. These are all the things which has to comprise. So if you are expecting an AI agent or an agentic AI bot to complete the particular task, the one example would be a travel assistant. So definitely you would need a memory. Definitely you need your bot would definitely need access to the real world tools or APIs, and it definitely needs access to the other agents if it required. Then you definitely need an orchestrator. What needs to be done for the decision making at all, right? So now, this is a next important slide or architecture you need to understand. The first important point, what about ABC triangle? A is equal to B plus C, very fundamental. The second important thing, what we discussed, the evolution of AI from traditional to a generation and to an agentic AI. So agentic AI is the combination of generative AI plus action. So if you wanted to execute an action, what you would need, you need certain components need to be added. So those are the components which is architecture in this diagram. If you look at this architecture, you see the end user, either you and me, asking a query, and the AI agent is giving response back to you. So before giving response back to you, what it does, it has a three important blocks here. You see the yellow box, that is orchestration box or orchestrator, where you are defining the agent brain with the instruction and the goal and profile. Then it has the memory. So when we say a memory, it has two memory. One is a short-term memory, other one is a long-term memory. The short-term memory is more about the conversation turns. If you are doing a conversation with a bot, it has to carry the context from the earlier turns what happened. So that is called as a short time, or we'll store the near call time runtime memory. Whereas a long time memory, it should have to have your preference. Last year, where did you travel? What was your preference? Where is your passport has been uploaded? And do you have a visa? And about your past experience, your past history, your personal, like experience behavior, those will be saved in the long time memory. So if you are building or developing or architecting a agentic AI, you need to think about the orchestration plot where you are defining a goal, and you should think about a memory. It's an inbuilt memory or external memory. You need to invoke it, then which will take care of a reasoning and planning where you can give a prompt. Then of course the second part is more about the brain. So though the execution happening using tools, but who does the plan, who drafts the plan? So generative AI model drafts a plan. So generative AI model could be anything, say like a Gemini or a GPT models or Cloud AI or any open source model. So it could be a proprietary model from a provider, it could be an open source model, kind of a llama, anything it could be. So then tools, coming back to a tools, but generative AI model, those are the things what we are comfortable with, what we are using it today. Now, if you wanted to move the generative AI trend to a agentic AI trend, you need to have this orchestration and tools. So orchestration, where we'll be defining the profile, goal, and the memory. Tools. So tools is a place where you are giving liberty to your AI agent to do a real-time task. So in the tools, it has access to the real-world APIs. In our travel assistant bot, if a bot wanted to book a flight, then it should have access to the flight booking website. It could be a Make My Trip or a Google Flights or a Skyscanner, any website. And it could be having a cloud functions. It could be a code block. Then it should have access to the database to check your passport validity, to check your visa availability, your past experience, your past preference. If you wanted to do anything, then you should have access to the your databases. The next one is the agent. So agent could be, for an example, not a single agent can execute the task. At times, you may have a steering agent. Steering agent is the initial agent where you are giving a task. Then it can subdivide the task, or based on the sub intent, it will route to other agents. In our example, the travel agent initial steering bot, when you ask the query, then it may have a sub agent. One sub agent will take care of a hotel booking. One sub agent, it will take care of a flight booking. Then if you are having that kind of a sub agents can run in the same model, or it can run in the different model as well. If agents wanted to communicate together, you need to have a to A or MCP kind of a mechanism to work upon. So that's what I'm just summarizing. If you wanted to have a successful agentic AI architecture, this is the way it looks like. When user query goes in and comes out with the answer, the three core components which reside inside the architecture would be: one is orchestrator, to act as an agent brain. Then definitely you have a generative AI models. It could be any models. Then the tool. So tool is a place where you are defining your open tools, or it could be a code block, or it could be a database access or API access, or it could be a connectivity to another AI sub agents to execute a particular task. So this is the way the architecture looks like. So the three major items we discussed: the fundamentals ABC, the evolution of AI, and the agentic AI architecture. Hope by now you may get some idea about where we are in 2026, and where we are, majorly doing all the project with respect to the agentic AI architecture. And this is one example I just made it for you to understand. If you are a professor, if you what are the tasks you can automate using the agentic AI on one use case. So when you wanted to differentiate the AA models and AA agent, AA models are generative AA model, more about limiting to the training data, whereas in the AA agent, it has access to the open tools and external databases using any tools. And AI models will be a single interface, lacks session memory. Once you close the session, it doesn't have a context. It doesn't carry the context carrying, and it doesn't have the past experience. If your bot doesn't have a past history about you, every time you start a conversation, it will be a new conversation. You never feel a personalized experience. Whereas in the AI agent, it does a short-time memory and long-time memory, which takes care of your history database. And AI models no native implementation of tool, whereas in the AI agents, the tool example we discussed, right? The API access databases or other AI bots, AI agents. And in AI models, user defined prompt, whereas in the AI agents, you are not giving prompt for each and every iterations, whereas you are defining a goal and instruction on the brain of orchestrator. Now it is the AI agent's responsibility, based on the goal and instruction. It will draft the plan A, then it will try to execute the plan A. If it's stuck somewhere in the plan A iteration number 7th or 8th, then it goes and evaluate the alternative way. Plan B, do we have a way to execute the particular task? So that means to say the reasoning and the decision making also will be taken care by orchestrator available in the agentic AI agents. So summarize, generative AI bot, it's more about having a bot inside the room, doesn't have access to the outside world. Whereas in the agentic AI agent, which is inside the room, having all the access to the outside world, and also it is a task executor rather than drafting a planner. And when you user gives a input to a AI agent, how it does, it has a LLM, it has an action, and it try to execute the plan with a flywheel. If in case the, and as just told you, if it's stuck somewhere in the particular plan execution in the particular iteration, what it does, it will go with the other iteration, plan B or a plan Z, try to execute and complete the task. So that way, the agentic AI move on. So it has a model autonomy and it has a dynamic planning and goal driven. So we are defining a goal rather than the prompt. All right. So now, by now, you may get some clarity about how the agentic AI, which differs from a generative AI. Agentic AI bots having access to the real world tools, and it has a memory, it has orchestrator, and it has a tool access. Now, memory, when we talk about a memory, it has few types. So you need to understand a few types. One is a short time memory, other one is a long time memory. So short time memory, it's more about having a conversation history. If you are doing a conversation with any bot, the bot has to carry the earlier conversation rather than repeating the same question to you, right? That is a short time memory. Long time memory, even after ending the particular conversation also, if you come tomorrow, day after, next month or next year also, it should have a ability to remember you and give a response back based on your past experience, where you have a three types: episodic memory, semantic memory, and procedural memory. So why I am highlighting this memory architecture to you, if you are developing an AI agent from a scratch, you may need to consider about these memory layers. You need to consider about the memory types. You need to build it up. So the alternative way would be, rather you concentrate about the model's internal architecture, you can concentrate more about your productivity, more about your customer user journey, or more about your use case. Getting it right? So in a travel assistant, rather than put yourself more about building a memory, where do you keep the memory architecture? So that is not primary goal for you, right? Your primary goal would be how an travel agent assist very effectively. So to act very effectively, where you can give access to the tools, where you can develop a tools, where you can tune the prompt, where you can tune the sentiment. So those things you can explore. So rather than concentrating more about architecture, if you develop more about the agent performance or a conversation design, so we have a solution for that. So that I'm coming into, where I'll be introducing the Google's AI stack and what are these solutions available from Google or any provider per se. Okay, now I'm covering the Google's perspective. Now let me just cover the long time memory. So long time memory, a short time memory, and long time memory. And short time memory is kind of a runtime memory or working memory. It's like in session context where it carries the conversation. Whereas in the long time memory, it has a personal history. Episodic memory is about our personal preferences, specific personal past events, and it has that particular memory. Long term semantic memory is more about your world knowledge. It's more about facts, and more about the facts, and it saves those from our vector DP, indexing the knowledge graph any from anywhere. Long-term procedural memory is about a muscle memory, where it's telling the storytelling, executing the particular skills like a driving skill or swimming skill. So that kind of a memory. So how human has, because we are replicating the similar human abilities to a AI agents, because it has to remember you, it has to execute the particular task with the reasoning and decision making. So classified them into two types: short time memory and long time memory. Short time memory is a per conversation memory or a per turn memory. Long time memory, episodic, semantic, and procedural. It's more about your how your model carries your personal fast, how the model carries the muscle memory, how the model carries the facts and general knowledge about and where it's saving with the vector DB. So this memory architecture, and once you implement, so this is the way the agent will respond to you. For an example, if you go and ask agent, say just say hello, then agent will respond back to you. It doesn't know about you, right? Just respond with you, hello there, how can I help you? Rather than if you say hello to an agent, if it understand who you are, okay, if it says your name, hey, hello, X and Y, I see you like learning new things, I'm happy to help you something today. So if you respond back, then the end customer or end user who is giving hello to the agent, he will get experience like, okay, he's getting a personality because bot knows more about him. Having the past history says that, yeah, you are an interested person to learn new things, fine, you are Ivan, and I like you, like new learn the new things. So that's the way the personal experience will differentiate when you have a memory. But executing this kind of a memory to an agentic AI, not a rival or not a easy task. You need to invest so much to do that. So that, what is the alternative solution to go ahead with? So what are the frameworks what we have with the providers? So here we would be, okay, you go with the introducing that with the like the default agentic AI frameworks available from our providers. I'll go with the Google's one now. The limitations of AI agents, we develop AI agents and we expect the model has to be very flexible. It should do a context and memory. It should have a tool integration, reliable grounding. We should take care of LLM ops, observability with the debugging, and like from UAT to production. These are all the points we need to consider when you are developing an AI agents. But in a practical view, if you are a person trying to do from end to end, you may not able to, I mean, it's not about you will not, you may not able to, or able to succeed in all the aspect. So to do that, what we can go with the agentic AI architecture, so which will reduce the time where you can where you can where you are spending more time about designing a memory, designing architecture, or designing the AI agents. So if you limit the time over there, then you have a sufficient time for you to concentrate or develop a better conversation design. You can make your bot to have access to the multiple tools, and you can fine tune your bot, or giving a prompt bot can understand effectively from the user intent. So those where you can do. So how we can achieve it from the providers? In every cloud providers, they have a framework. In Google's perspective, we will call it as a Gemini Enterprise. So Gemini Enterprise is a platform or a framework where you can develop an AI agents. How you get access to a Gemini AI agent platform, Gemini Enterprise? I will give a guide and I will give a steps where you can access using your own credentials, where you can play around and can create a sample bot and you can test it out. There are multiple layers because in this AI trend, this all the cloud providers are making the AI is a democratized thing. That mean to say, because of these clouds adoption, the AI is becoming reachable to everyone. So before, if you want to develop a AI, it will be kind of the bigger task. You need to think about data pipeline, data sourcing, data engineering lifecycle, put into a model, then feedback loop, fine tuning, evaluation, optimization. Lot of iterations you need to do. Now, with the cloud and AI compo, so all these cloud providers, they have their foundation models and they do have their frameworks available, whereas you no need to spend more about this infrastructure work. Rather, you can consume the available model, or you can put your own data and build your model in the framework, and you can fine tune, or you can plug and play using the framework with respect to your expertise level. Because I'll be introducing you to a couple of frameworks, and some framework which will be more developer focused, developer friendly, where the developer has more liberty to do more coding. And we do have a couple of frameworks, or a couple of kind of a solutions where even a business user, even a non-technical user also can develop a agents. So that will be industry specific also. So that way it is in. So if we go with enterprise agentic foundation, which will be a agentic platform plus framework, which comprises of your input layer. It will take care of a security layer as well, where the model armor, where the data security, your model governance, the prompt injection, these all will be prevented. How do we go with that? This is the same example I just illustrated. I put one more example for a burger, and you can have the travel assistant as a standard example for you to remember. because this is in this burger also similar example. If you give a prompt to a generative AI bot, the bot may draft and give the plan. Whereas if you visualize that and order a burger, how burger is getting ready in the kitchen, we never know. Whereas in the AI agents, it does the same task. It execute and give a plain output to you. Now coming back to a AI stack architecture. AI stack architecture, it's very important and very vital in today's trend. So we started with the fundamental ABC. We discussed a lot about the evolution of AI. Then we discussed more about the AI agent architecture, how that AI agent architecture, what is the tools and what are the orchestrator and what are the generative AI models. Now this end-to-end vertically integrated this layer architecture, what does it mean for? What actually it does? If you want to understand little, you may need to recall the fundamentals of OSA layer or a TCP/IP if you had studied in your first year, or if you had studied something in your your 12th grade about OSA layer. You may have a 7 layers, right? Anything with a network, anything with a traffic, it should fall in the 7 layers, starting from data link, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, so application layer. These 7 layers. So whatever you do with the networking, it fall under these layers. It's similar with the TCP/IP. Those are the fundamentals of networking. Whatever you do, similarly with the AI model development, it's not about consuming an API. If you are developing an AI model tomorrow, you should comprises of these four as a minimum layers, where you need a AI computer. So basically, there is a cloud infrastructure where you have a TPU, CPUs. You have basically a supercomputer, right? If you remember the triangle ABC, if you want to have a powerful A, you need to have a B plus C. So B is equal to big data. So now you come up with a huge data, but to process a huge data, to develop a particular data model from the data, you need to have a hypercomputer, the supercomputer, the big computer. So that we'll call it as a AI hypercomputer, mostly from a cloud providers, GPUs, CPUs. Those are the powerful than your normal computer CPUs, right? On top, you have a deep mind is the Google's research AI entity. It has the Gemini models, and it does have a open source model. It has a model garden as well. So foundation is a cloud computing. On top, you are building a model using a data. Then you have the Vertex AI platform or agent engine. Now the Vertex AI platform, what I am highlighting here, so those has been completely renamed as Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. So Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform and the Vertex AI platform, those are same. On top you have a ADK. So ADK is a framework. If you are using this kind of a framework, and it will be giving the options like you can create a AI agents using a UI, using a cloud console UI, or you have a agent console UI, or if you are a developer and you want to have develop a AI agents using your code, using a Python code or a JavaScript or a Go, any code, you can develop your own AI agents. So this ADK kit will give you the end-to-end accessibility to develop a code. And if you are accessing ADK, basically you are accessing other down 3 layers. Rather, you spend your time and money to developing down 3 layers, you can get access to the ADK kit from a ADK, which will give a framework and infrastructure where you can build your own AI agents. So this is what the high level architecture looks like. Fundamentally is the computing one. On top you have a foundation layers, the models. Then you have a solutions layer where you have agent running, runtime engine is running. On top you have a ADK. ADK is the Google specific one. Even you do have open source model also available in the market where you can explore it. This is the way it looks like. We have infrastructure, data, model, AI platform, and agent and app. On top layer, the agent app where we are developing, where you can develop a ADK agent, or where you can develop a customer experience, GCX agent, the conversational agent, and where you can develop a business app. It could be a search app. So the AI agent, when we categorize, that is not only for a conversation chatbot. It could be useful to your developer to develop some application. It could be useful to the end customer to come to your website or do some search. And it could be useful to business user also develop their own AI agents for their day-to-day activities. But The architecture remains same. You have an infrastructure, and on top of infrastructure you put a data and develop a model. Then after developing a model, then you need to have the model should be available to the outside world, right? When you want to access the model, you need to have authorization, API token, and you need to have a key to access the model. So to provision it available in the AI platform. But to access the AI platform, you have a multiple solutions kits in a Google Cloud perspective. We have a one kit called the ADK, and we do have a couple of other options so you access it via UI. So ADK is more developer friendly, whereas the UI tools are more business friendly, right? This is a way the transformation is happening with the autonomous action from textual agent to a sensor explanatory to a autonomous action where it drafts a plan, it does a reasoning, it interacts with the outside world, and it will give output to you. So even that is happening with a multi-model, and you just give a input in any way. It's not only the prompt. Even if you ask the AI agent after developing with a multi-model, you can just show the AI agent to a particular issue video or a particular issue, something like your refrigerator or air conditioner is not working. You can just show a video. With respect to the video, what it sees on the conversation, it can identify the problem and it will give a solution, and it will try to execute the problem from the back end as well. And now coming back to the Gemini Enterprise. So this is the place which is like a very latest from a GCP or a Google Cloud perspective. And Gemini Enterprise is a consolidated place where, as I mentioned just before, it will give access to your employees to create their AI agents to increase the productivity, and it will give access to your developers where they can make a production ready AI agents on scale, and it will give access to the end customers, the government explore. For an example, if you are a institute, say RMK is an institute, and if you are using a Gemini interface kind of a technology from Google, being administrator or a teaching faculty, you can develop a teaching assistant, a subject assistant kind of AI agents on the same site. Similarly, the administrator can make a similar AI bot which has been created for a subject max. They can make similar kind of a bot to remaining all the subject. They can make it as a scalable to n number of users who can access it all over the world. That's a developer use case. That use case would be if somebody comes in, right, end customer, somebody is trying to get admission to your college, I want to explore what are the departments and what are the past history of your college. They can come and do a search and get answer. So these are the different use cases where you can incorporate the Gemini Enterprise into the into the life. So now the architecture layer would be the foundation always remains same. You need to always remember the 4 stack or a 5 stack architecture which I showed you. The foundation is a computing layer. On top you have a model layer with the data. Then you have a EAA framework that like a Gemini enterprise layer. Then you have a interface where you are accessing that particular framework via interface. So we have a couple of interfaces. One interface is the ADK. It's a developer friendly where you will be using a the programming language to interact, and we do have a couple of other interfaces. I can show you a demo in a while where you are creating a AI agents or AI bot using a low code, no code, or tools to create an applications. So this the blueprint remains same. The foundation is the infrastructure where you have a hypercomputer, you have agentic data cloud and agentic defense. Because when you are going advancement with the model development, advancement of the data, it is high time the equal responsibility to protect your data and protect your model, right? The agentic defense play a role. Then you go with the Gemini enterprise agent platform where we do a build and model where you build an agent, you scale an agent based on the consumption. Then you do a governance action compiling the rules, the model armor, the prompt injection, those kind of attacks you can govern it. Then you have optimization is more about after developing a particular AI agent, how do you do a evaluation. So now we have an option to use AI as a judge to optimize your AI agent performance. On top, we have a different categories: Gemini Enterprise app and custom app built by your partners, and a Gemini interface for custom experience, right? So what I do quickly, rather I explain more about Gemini Enterprise. and it may give some idea. But if you look at the actual demo in my screen, which will give more confident, how does it look like? All right, so let me share my other screen for you to get a clarity about what I'm talking. Right, so let me just switch my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
All right, okay. Yeah, so this would be the, let me just go from a scratch. So if you go to a Google, just Google, you can type Google Cloud Console, and you get access to the Google Cloud Console. I can open the console here. So how to get access to the Google Cloud Console? There are a couple of ways. If you are already accessed any cloud, well and good. And but if you are novice, if you never access to any cloud, and you can take a chance to explore the Google Cloud, and where you get access to 90 days period with a $300 credits, where you can create your projects, you can explore, you can play around. That's a one option. The other option would be, we have a something called a skill boost. So this is the Google Skill Boost. This is the upskilling website specifically for the students and outsiders, those who want to upskill, where you can go and like basically sign in yourself with your create an account, create an account with your Gmail ID and your profile. So you will get access to the complete skill boost. And how does the complete skill boost looks like? I'll give a glance. So these are the resources available. So once you have a skill boost available, every month you will get 35 credits. So which will be valid for a month. Then next month you will get another 35 credits. So basically you now we're not going to use a 35 credits in a shot until unless you explore a lot. So once you have the skill boost account created, you will get access to all the the labs. So these labs are completely free to explore. For an example, if you wanted to explore Gemini Enterprise, you go and filtered out Gemini Enterprise, you will get introduction to Gemini Enterprise. If you go to introduction to Gemini Enterprise, it has a 1 hour 30 minutes lab. So where it will show you, okay, how what you need to do with. So the objective of this would be, where you are exploring a Gemini Enterprise, you are going with your enterprise data, and you are going to create an AA agent which will do a plan, reason, and execute the task. So to complete the task, once you start the lab, so this is the way it looks like. It will give a task, the detailed task to you, task number 1, task number 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are familiar with the skill boost, well and good. If not, registered yourself with the skill boost account. It's a free of cost, where you'll get a monthly credit where you can upskill yourself. You can start a lab. Once you start a lab like this, you will get a credential, the temporary credentials like this, which will be valid for 1 hour 30 minutes, where you can go and practice and complete the lab session. This is a one way of exploring. The other way is, you need to go and register your email ID with the Google Cloud Console, create your own cloud account, which will be having a free access to 90 days with a $300 credits. Now, once I log in to this particular console, this is a GCP project console. This is my project, and there's all the things you can see it here, right? Now, if I wanted to develop an AA agent that primarily for a IT help desk, you know about a IT help desk, right? If you want to develop a IT help desk agent, there are a couple of ways to do it. So one is the agent platform. So this is the agent platform where you can go and create an agent. The second one is the ADK one, where you can go and create an AA agent using a like a code based interaction. This is a coding interface where you can run this particular code from a Jupyter notebook, or it can run it from your local VS Code, what you have in your local computer, by installing the Google Cloud SDK. The other option would be the Gemini Enterprise Customer Experience. This is a low code, no code tool or a solution where you can create a conversational AA agents using a UI drag and drop method. So these three ways I'm just going to show you. And why we are going to this kind of a tools, the reason behind. And since we talk about the agentic AI architecture, it involves a lot other components, not limiting to a generative AI foundation model. On top, you need to have access to the memory orchestrator, you need to have access to the tools and everything, right? So rather giving more time or work to develop the infrastructure, you can invest your time to the productive tasks. You can develop a more time into your conversational design. This is a place where you can use the frameworks and you can consume a Google's Gemini model, but not limited to Google Gemini models. Google cloud platform or a Google Enterprise as a model garden, where you can go and access 200 plus models, the open source model, even starting from, which I just showed in the other picture, right? Starting from Gemini, GPT, Cloud, or any models, you can access it. So now the AI agent, what I'm going to create, it's more about creating an agent for a IT help desk, where I'm going to give a couple of prompt. Okay, this is a prompt I'm going to give. You are a high skilled agent, and yeah, and I'm going to create IT help desk agent, and giving a description to answer in user for any IT related queries. And this is just a prompt I given. Once I do, I can select a model, whichever the model you want. So if you want to go with the latest one, you can go with the Gemini 3 Flow Flash or 3.1, I can go with. And if I create a model, yes, I don't want a sub agent now, I can create an agent model. And the similar way, the ADK tool, and so I will give us instructions here. So ADK tool, if you want to create, you can create via CLI. The last one is a conversational AI agent. So here also, if you go here, the agents, so how do you access it? This is the way you access it. You go and access the conversational AI agents, and these all the the labs being a skill boost. And if you have access to the cloud console also, you can explore it. You can go here, you can just queue IT help desk agent and create an agent. Once you do create an agent, it takes a while and it will ask you the prompt to create. I think did I create it already? No, I think we go with the disk creation agent. Yeah, I go with it. So this is the CES conversational design, conversational agent console. So here I'm just exploring a low code, no code tool just to create an agent and giving a couple of prompt. See here, I'll be giving the same instruction to the prompt, and like giving a prompt and just build a view. So what it gonna create, it gonna create a use case with respect to the prompt. You are high skilled and friendly IT help desk assistant for a large enterprise, and it to take care of a software installation, network connectivity problem. Be conscious, polite, and if an issue is primitive commerce, politely inform the user. Human recognition will need to take over. Giving the basic instruction and just giving a prompt. Once you do that, it will take a while. So we can wait, or you can go and create an agent. I just created before, so both I can just search an agent here. So this is the agent. By giving a prompt, we can create immediately. Just say you with the prompt, okay, this is the build and this is the actual build. We are not giving any instructions. And if you want to give access to the real world tools, this is the way where you can give access to the human technician. If you want to escalate where you want to escalate, or you want to link any document using a RAG data store, you can do it here. And if you want to call any APIs or a database, you can add those values here. So we're giving access to the real world tools. Now we're giving the prompt, how it gonna respond. So giving a initial question, hi, my VPN is not working. Just giving a quick question. yeah, then it will tries to troubleshoot in a while, and it just created within a couple of minutes, even the second part what we just launched. So by this now also, by just 2 minutes before, it is ready now. So you can ask the same thing. Hi, my VPN is not working, and so now we just gonna be some troubleshooting steps, and we will this laptop. So something, this way it takes in, and if you give a, so now we just not given any step-by-step instruction. We given the prompt just to create an app, and with the A agent. So now it is a root agent. As I told you, if you want to have a sub agents or a tool, you can create it here. So if you want to have a sub agent, in our example, previously we discussed the booking agent wanted to have access to the flight booking agent separate, and if you want to have access to the hotel booking agent separate, so that way also you can go with that. So this is the way high level the architecture looks like, and this other way in a ADK development kit also you can create it. That can be done in the Google Workbench or from your local console. You can create that, and this is a agentic AI platform where you can access the existing agents. This is the way it looks like if you go with the agentic platform, and it has the existing agents, or you can build your own agents, or you can generate any models from model garden. So it's a couple of ways where you can access using UI tools, where using GCX console or ADK developer friendly tools, where you can access and explore it. And let me just queue back. Is that my slide visible now? Just quickly.
Yes, sir. It's visible only, sir.
You see the Gemini Enterprise
No,
platform?
no.
Okay, one moment.
Yeah, the generate media page is visible.
Okay, so generate media page is visible. Okay. Yeah, here we are discussing before, right? This is
Yes, it's
more about,
visible.
yeah, thank you, sir. So Gemini Enterprise, so as I mentioned, it has access to the first party, third party open models as well. And it has a ADK tool and agent runtime under model training. And this is a place where you can go with your own data and develop your own model. Or if you want to consume the existing model, you have option to use the ADK tool or agent runtime tools like agent platform or a conversational bot interface GCX, where you can access it. And this is a way you can go with your use case and take the leverage of this platform and frameworks and consume either Google's first party model, third party model, or any open source model. So that we can take it forward. And the advantages of having Google Enterprise Agent platform, it build the agent faster, scale agents effectively, because infrastructure will be taken care of the backend. We are accessing only the runtime, and it takes care of the basic governance, confidence, the security, the model protection, model armor, and the prompt injection protection. Everything will be taken care. It's responsible and ethical, and you can optimize an AI as I mentioned. So to it's like developing an AI agent, not a one-time task. It will be a iterative project. Once you develop an AI agent, you test an agent, do execute, then understand the output. If you want to fine tune, do a feedback analysis, right? You keep optimizing agent. Now, earlier we used to create a test data set, golden data set. We need to do evaluation. We need to optimize it manually. Now you can mark even for your AA as a judge to optimize and evaluate it. So that way, it goes on. If you summarize these into four major chunks, as I mentioned, the Gemini Enterprise mainly for building agents from a scratch with using your data, using a platforms or a console, what I explained, and it has ability to scale from UIT to a production, handling the traffic to the huge numbers across the world. And it takes care of the governance, right? Where you have a model registry, where you have a model identity, the cryptographic agent identity to verify it's is authentic agent. The last one is more about the optimizing feedback mechanism, the evaluation, agent as a as a judge. Those will be taken care. And these are the whole idea, and these are the resources. I would be sharing this deck to you, and this is more about having the agentic AI what we are talking today. So before I go and close this, I'll just summarize where we started and where we landed. We started with the importance of agentic AI, where we are in today. We discussed about a couple of numbers and where we are getting more revenue and where the industry is happening, where the customers and the enterprises who were doing a POCs and testing couple of years back, now they are pushing their live traffic, the production traffic into an AI model. So AI is no more fun; it's a real business which is happening in the industry, and so that's why those numbers are giving a clear picture the importance of AI. And if you are studying final year now, definitely once you passed out or completely next 5 to 10 years, either you're going to work with AI or you're going to develop an AI, be an entrepreneur, be an employee, you're going to higher study, wherever you go, definitely AI is going to be part of your life. Then you need to understand the fundamentals of AI. We started with the ABC triangle. So A is equal to B plus C. How AI got transformed from 1950s to 2026. We categorize them into three major chunks. So one is a traditional AI, more about prediction and classification. The generative AI, maybe after 20 or 2022, and more about understanding and generation along with the traditional AI. Now with the agentic AI from 2025 and 2026, where we are seriously focusing more about giving access to the generative AI to the real world along with the memory and orchestrator. There we define them as a AI agent or agentic AI. Then we did a deep dive into agentic AI architecture, where the memory and where the orchestrator, where the tools lays on. Then we moved into a Gemini Enterprise and Google's AI stack, starting from a hypercomputer to a data layer, then model layer. Then you have a frameworks where you can access it. Then I showed you a couple of demos and I giving access to these resources. And I'm going to give this deck to the coordinators. They may circulate to you. They may tag this into the same stream, so you'll get to know all these resources to make it useful. And that's all about today's session. And if in case you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me. And yeah.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, and a very good session, a open session. And I have a few doubts there regarding you talk about the Google Skills
Mhm.
platform where you can take up courses and hands-on lab and all those things. How we can take this forward to students, and what are the benefits when we do courses over there, sir?
Yeah, definitely. It's a very valid question. And basically, the Google Cloud Skill Boost is designed for the learners. It's a learning community or learning platform where anybody can register themselves with the email ID and the profile. So once they do, they'll get access to the complete catalogs, and there they can pick it up. They want to upskill themselves with a AI or a data or a cloud, so accordingly they can pick it up. Because if you are evolving that, it is like a triangle, right? Artificial intelligence, big data, and cloud computing, they can holistically grow themselves. And also the other advantages of having access to this kind of a platform from a student's perspective, it will help them to clear their global certifications. When we call it as a global certifications, as we know, right, this is so much important. If they are going to a job interview or applying for any higher studies, having them on a profile would be a added advantage, which will be giving a proven track authorization or authority for you on the particular skill set. And if you want to develop a particular certification, for say an example, I'll take GCP cloud as an example, where we have a lot of certification majorly on 8 tracks. So one certification covers a cloud architect, another will cover more about professional machine learning engineer, other will cover like professional data engineer, PDE will call it as. So we have a three certification around the area what we explore today. One is a professional cloud engineer and professional cloud architect. Other one is a data engineer. Other one is a machine learning engineer. If a students has a interest among any of these one particular, or if they have interest on all these three also, well and good. So they can pick the particular skill set into the skill boost, and accordingly there will be a labs they can clarify, they can complete the lab one by one. They'll get more confident rather than keep studying a theory. Once we do a lab, it will give more confident, and they'll get a experience accessing a cloud console, and do a debugging, getting a output, and getting a success message. So that way, it will help them out. So the ideal way here would be, we expecting in a industry, in today's trend, not only with the technical skills, and as you know, right, we need to have a holistic skill. Then adding these kind of industry certifications into a profile, and having the other transferable skills like communication, public speaking, presentation skills, those will help them to curate their profile in a holistic way to snatch the opportunity.
Yeah,
Hope.
that's good,
Yes, sir.
sir. And these certifications are paid, or we have to pay any, fees to
Yeah.
the exam?
Yeah, that like these doing a skill boost lab, there are a couple of labs where you have a like a task, you can just follow and complete the lab. There are a couple of labs where you can complete the challenge lab. Once you complete the challenge lab, you will get a course completion certificate for the particular course that they can add into a LinkedIn. But if you wanted to go with a global certifications, as I explained, professional cloud architect, or a professional data engineer, or professional machine learning engineer, or network engineer, security engineer, any kind of a certification, yeah, definitely there is a exam fee they need to pay, like around, I think, $250 somewhere around. It has a validity of 2 to 3 years once they write the examinations. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for it.
Yes, sir.
So
And
thank you, sir.
yes, sir.
Uh, HOD, sir. Sir, you want to say anything there?
Me, sir?
Sir. Sir, anything else, sir?
No, sir. Sir, nice session, sir. It is very interesting, sir. So more than an hour, we learned lot, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm happy to help. I'll circulate this presentation deck to you, and if in case you can share with the students or participant, if they have any questions, I'm happy to help them out. Yeah. Thank you for the great opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, Ani, sir, you may proceed, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So thank you so much, sir, Mr. KUMARESAN MK, for that truly insightful and inspiring session. So we are certain that every participant today has walked away with valuable knowledge and a fresh perspective on artificial intelligence. I once again take this opportunity to sincerely thank our RMK Group of Institutions Management for their visionary support in creating such meaningful platforms of learning, and our respected principal sir, Dean of Research and Dean Academics sir, for their constant encouragement and leadership that inspires us all, and all our heads of departments for their wholehearted support and coordination. And finally, I thank our head of the department, Dr. R. Rajaguru, for the gracious introduction and continuous encouragement. And finally, the guest of speaker today, Mr. KUMARESAN MK, for so generously sharing his expertise, experience, and time with us today. And last but not the least, all the faculty members and students for your enthusiastic participation and engagement through the session. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Sir.
sir.
Thank you, Rajan sir, for
Thank
your special time, sir. Thank you, HOD sir. Thank you, sir.